Hello, everybody. My name is Jeff. I am a finance attorney in New York, and I fell down the crypto rabbit hole a few months ago through trading, and then quickly found myself on a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of sleepless nights, figuring out exactly how this space works and how exciting it was going to be for the next 6 months and the next 6 years and the next 60 years. And I actually met this team while over the summer, but that is, I think, about 7 or 8 years in crypto time. So I've definitely gotten to know them quite well, and I'm very excited about what they're doing in the NFT space. I am a host of a podcast, Crypto on Tap, which is designed to just bring people together to have some casual conversations, maybe over a drink. And I wanted the chance to interview these guys and the work that they're doing, because I do think that it is going to change the NFT space. I think the idea of reputation and bringing that in to the NFT space is very important, both from the artist perspective and the collector's perspective. And so I'm here to just sort of ask them any questions that I have, and any questions that artists might have, or collectors might have, or investors might have. And hopefully you guys can get to know them in the same way that I have, and get just as excited as I have gotten over the last few months. So without any other ado, I'll let everybody introduce themselves, and just so you can get to know everybody and get to know the exciting team behind everything.
Hey guys, I'm Elise Sam. I got into blockchain 7 years ago by accident. I was a nurse for 13 years. I took care of the dying and the addicted and the mentally ill. And then one day I was stopped and I was plowed by a semi truck. Not knowing what to do with the rest of my life and not accepting disability as a part of my future, I reached out to industry leaders in blockchain and was trained by Dimitri Buterin. I worked with the World Ethical Data Forum with JP here, and also I did a lot in privacy and whistleblowing. So that's me in short.
This is Clinton Mills. I've been in cryptocurrency since 2018 when we started in the mining business on Ethereum, and have been very passionate about crypto ever since. My twin brother and my father started a company called HitSense 2 decades ago, mainly focused today on gaming, which translates a lot over into the cryptocurrency. And so, yeah, we're excited to start this new project with a great team.
Evelyne Chevry. I've been in crypto since 2012. After working a few years consulting in the field, I ended up being director of the Blockchain Association of Canada. So ended up working more on the lobby side, doing consulting for various projects. I taught at York University crypto economics and tokenomics. And overall, I have 25 years of experience in technology, a mix of artificial intelligence, blockchain technologies, and biotech, and virtual reality. So I'm bringing all that experience to the project. I see awesome potential with decentralized infrastructure for reputation in the space.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris Mills, and I'm extremely passionate about the blockchain space. I've been involved in it for the last 3 or 4 years, strictly in kind of the mining and Ethereum side. But I see the technology itself as a huge fundamental need for the future of humanity. I think immutable data and the cryptology that is tied into it is extremely important. And so that's why I'm extremely excited to be working with the team that we put together to bring NFTY, DeFi reputation protocol, to the space.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ed Mills. I'm very excited today to talk about our future product with NFTY. We launched our token a few days ago, and we want to tell the story of how we got here. You know, lucky me, I got to build Corvettes for almost 20 years. And my sons, Clinton and Chris, at 16 years old of age, said, "Hey, Dad, let's get into the technology business during the dot-com bubble in 1999. And I'm very, very happy to say that 2 decades later, I'm getting to work beside them in this amazing space we call, I don't know what you want to call it, tokenomics or Bitcoin or blockchain, like whatever the word of the day is. I feel like we're on the cutting edge of that. I was lucky to get to meet some influential people when we won Webby Awards in New York for our Draw a Stickman franchise, which has over 100 million downloads. And that catapulted us to where I ended up in Los Angeles, California, where I'm very happy to get to work with the likes of Tom Hanks and Floyd Mayweather, Snoop Dogg, etc. We launched Godfather, one of the most successful mobile games in Paramount history. And that relationship was built on the understanding that IP is very important, and trying to know the people around you and how you can get those people around you to help. The team that's assembled here is absolutely amazing. Jake and I literally couldn't be more happier than to find Elise and JP and Evelyn to be part of this, and Steve. So looking forward to many, many of these ahead.
Hi everyone, my name is Jean-Philippe Baudet. I've been, my career started in video game, but didn't get into video game for very long because I got into technology right after school. I founded at least 2 startups, one in AI, some with Evelyn Chevry that we have here. We have done some pretty amazing stuff, and it's right by accident that we discovered crypto, and around, in my view, that it was in Turkey. And we were renting office at a place, the Bitcoin Embassy in Montreal, and it was an instant passion. I saw so much potential in crypto at that time that it kind of swayed me a lot. I've worked also in identity protection and security, cybersecurity, and encryption a bit. I've been co-founding the World Ethical Data Forum because we wanted to speak about an important subject about, our data handled and everything. And since then, I've kept my passion for tokenomics. I've been involved in crypto projects such as ADLC, Foundation of Algorithmic Token, and very, very early in the concept of fair launch, which we have been doing a fair launch, which I'm very proud of. I'm very excited about this project because I believe that reputation in NFT will be one big stone on which legitimacy will install itself, and we have a lot in store to ensure that we're going to add much, much value to the ecosystem.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve. I've been in crypto since 2012. I got into it when I was working in Washington, DC in politics. I had some friends who were investigating the Silk Road, and they told me that I should look into the payment technology. So I did that, but never really advanced much in the industry for several years because it had a pretty indelible taint, as most people are aware, of being kind of a dark web phenomenon. But I did sit around as I was working on other projects and launching various startups and nonprofits, and just kept an eye on the industry because I thought it had a lot of potential. And over the past half a decade or so, it's come a long way from where it initially started. I think that there's a whole lot more that can be done, and I'm especially excited about what's going on with NFTs. NFTs, as far as I'm concerned, are the future of pretty much every sort of property ownership that you could possibly imagine, from real estate to luxury goods to artwork, as most people are aware. I think that that's going to be what eventually shows ownership for everything. And having a mechanism like NFTY, that this project we're working on right now, to identify what's quality and what's not quality, what's good, what's bad, what's fraudulent, is going to be key to making that a successful endeavor for human history. So I'm really glad to be a part of this, and I'm really hopeful that this keeps going the way that it's already going, and we see smashing success.
All right, so thank you all for introducing yourself. I want to now give you guys a chance to really introduce the project itself, and just give me the verbal white paper, if you will, and tell me what this project is and what NFTY is, and everything that you can in a short amount of time to get me excited about it. Steve, I think you are probably one of the best people to answer that question, so I'll go to you first.
Thanks, Jeff. So roughly in short, NFTY is a reputation layer for NFTs. So if you think about social media platforms, you've got like buttons, you got share buttons, you got retweets, you got hearts, you got cross posting. Nothing like that really exists with NFTs to provide some sort of mechanism for people to crowdsource what's good content and what's bad content. As a result, everything just relies on the activity that is driven on a given auction to determine what's good and what's bad. That doesn't really work because you could have good activity and you could have bad activity, and the algorithms can't really determine the difference between those. What the Nifty token does, it works with the Nifty protocol, which is basically the same thing. The protocol integrates with an NFT exchange and uses the Nifty token in order to facilitate what we're doing with reputation layers. And the reputation layer allows individuals who like a particular auction to allocate their NFTs or their Nifty towards it. And when they do that, the more they allocate towards a particular auction, the more visible it is, the more notoriety it gains, and the more likely it is to sell, and for a higher price because it's been identified as a good quality product. This eliminates a whole lot of fraudulent items that tend to crop up in the NFT space. It eliminates all of the really low quality things, for example, where someone just goes onto a Google image search, copies something, NFTs it, puts it on an AWS server, and then sells a link for, I don't know, $100,000. That's not really worth what it's sold for, but because there's no mechanism to determine quality from poor quality, there's really no way for people to know what they're buying, whether it's a good product or a bad product. So what the protocol does is it provides that mechanism for people to be able to crowdsource whether something is good or bad. And then once the auction is closed, we allow for financial incentives to make sure that people do a good job. So you're not just doing this for free. You're not just giving Facebook your likes so everybody knows what you like. You actually get paid out of the proceeds from the auction based on how much you like the auction, which is determined by how much Nifty you allocated towards it. So the more Nifty you allocate, the more rewards you get from the auction proceeds. And then you can take your Nifty and allocate it again to another auction as soon as that one ends.
Fascinating. So what you're saying is beyond even just the idea of saying one is fake and one is real and one is more valuable. I think an interesting perspective from artists that I've talked to in the space is also that it is a way for their community to get involved with an NFT without necessarily having to be the one who purchases it. You know, I think there's a lot of artist communities out there who could use this token, you know, for the random Instagram follower that simply wants to support their artist. They can do that now without having to spend 12 ETH on their actual NFT at the end, right? And that's part of the draw here from an artist perspective. Is that right?
Absolutely. If you have an artist that you really like and that artist isn't particularly well known, if you have a lot of Nifty, you can make sure that that artist gets all the way to the top of the list so people see their artwork and you can support the communities that you like.
One thing I'd like to add to what Steve said is I think everybody's very familiar with the algorithms that show us what Facebook post we see or what Instagram post we see, kind of the ordering. There's been a lot of, pushback between how these algorithms are designed. And I think the protocol itself here is going to really move the sorting features that are controlled by machines to more of an economic feature that's controlled by the people. And so people get to choose what other people are seeing as opposed to somebody that's incentivized to keep you on their platform through an AI algorithm to keep you scrolling down or swiping left or right.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think a lot of people are frustrated by that. So the idea of being able to give that power back a little bit is great. And I actually have a simpler question. When did you guys come up with this idea? Were you sitting in a bar having a drink talking about crypto, or were you at an art gallery or just, I'm curious what the story is and how you guys came to this point, because I know it's been a long journey. Where did it start?
About a year ago, when the NFT became this buzzword, Jake and I were another co-founder. We spent a lot of time in Clubhouse, and we wanted to understand the pain points that the artists were having. And a lot of artists just don't have the abilities to, get on these platforms, get a wallet, put up their NFT, understand the gas prices. And most of them were losing money and a lot of frustration. So Normally a product or an idea that Clinton and Chris and I would come up with is there a problem and do we have a solution? And the solution you're seeing in front of you right now, Jeff.
That's great. That's a really great original idea. And I think that the pain point is definitely there. But how did the rest of the team come together? How did everybody find their spot here? I know, Elise, you got connected with Ed pretty early on. So can you tell us a little bit about that interaction?
That was interesting interaction, to say the least. So
Yeah.
I was actually dying on my deathbed, being pregnant. I was starving while pregnant, and Jake was running me all around trying to give him all this information on NFTs. He's like, because I have worked on IPFS technology, and I've been in NFT space since 2016. And so all of a sudden, when NFTs aren't crypto kitties anymore, everybody's like, oh, hey, weird ETH girl, come here. This NFT thing is taken off. And so Jake contacted me and introduced me to Ed. And he was a superhero to me upon meeting him. So I called other people that I trust in the industry and that I've had started businesses with and worked with. JP, who we did HODL C together. It's an algorithmic stable token. And I worked with Steve on PAT Global and some sustainable social impact projects. And then Evelyn being in AI and an expert there, we just got all these strong hitters together because we wanted to really help very powerful people. And what I'm terming like relics, all these people are bringing us these gorgeous, tangible items that we want to eternalize forever. And the technology that we saw out there and the solutions we saw out there were just not really good enough for these items. When you have like twerking Pepes, as NFTs, and they want us to launch like the Grease car, the car from the movie Grease. We have to really build this technology and these platforms and show that these really valuable items can be there. And I'm telling you what, Ed, Chris, and Clinton, they put a team to the work, and we're trying to prove ourselves, but I think we're doing a pretty great job.
So there's definitely a pain point in the NFT space and in the art space, but obviously a huge part of that solution is tech-based in the blockchain technology and also just generally building the platform. So if you guys want to tell me a little bit about the underlying technology and how that got built and everybody who contributed to that, I'd love to hear that story as well.
Yeah, definitely, Jeff. So at HitSense, we've kind of been serial entrepreneurs under the same umbrella. We've done smart home development, we've done ERP softwares, we've done self-checkout lanes, like really written software for enterprise level solutions. And so we have that at the core, we're just software developers, software engineers. And so like Ed mentioned earlier, we try to identify what the problems are and what kind of solutions we can bring. That really focuses a lot on the user, the UI and the UX, so the user interface and user experience. And so we're really bringing 20 years of our experience doing that into a space that's really the Wild West. So you got a lot of people that are putting stuff up in 20 minutes. They're just doing a little bit of codes, copying and pasting. We're really taking this at an enterprise level, developing something we think is going to be very impactful, very important, and work. I think that is the big key here, is making sure that it works the way that it's supposed to.
Great answer. Follow up to the underlying actual tech is the tokenomics and how the token works and how the people can actually utilize it in the space. So can you tell me a little bit more about how to actually use the NFTY token? And I know some of you have a great visual behind you, but if somebody could give me a brief overview of how that might work.
Well, Steve did get a very good description earlier on with the verbal white paper. The idea there is that this token is there to crowdsource reputation. And the base of it is based on the fact that people are rewarded for. So how does that really works is fairly simple. It's started by a two-dimensional thing. The fact is people needs to vote and allocate a certain amount of their vote through the NFT that they actually like or that they believe that will be sold for a good number. As people are getting a pool of this number, there is two big variable for them. Either the pool is bigger, will it sell or will it not sell? If it doesn't sell, there's no way and no meaning for you to allocate there. So already cheap content goes away. But then when you know that this content might be good, how much would it be good? How much do you want to bet? And how much people already started to bet with it? And the interesting thing with it is that there's going to be a spread strategy where some people will search for sellable item, but that people did not discover or did not discover much. Others will go for the sure bets. Some will separate within it. And this is going to give a layered heat map, basically, of the mindset of how much people believe that it will sell and how much actually it will sell for. And I think that that is a very, very strong way to push people to create a data analytic platform. And this is only the beginning, because we have already introduced the concept of social rank and social layer that will grant you access to certain very, very private event or very private auction or any other extraordinary stuff we'll put up together. So the idea there is that the more we will advance, the more we will find ways to make the spread of voting and add sort of reward and add sort of gamification that will create even more deep layered social data. And I think that coming from a background of machine learning and all that crossed over with some other data that we can crowdsource or publicly source right now could give a level of clarity that doesn't exist anymore. So it achieved exactly what Steve wanted to do, but it does it on a fully positive incentive, because people won't basically lose their time not earning money for something that is worth nothing. So it's a fairly simple equation, but has a very profound reaction, I think, and we can milk this data quite a lot and do something very, very interesting that will just increase clarity again and sustainability for the industry.
To jump on what Chris and GP were saying, what we're doing is replicating and enhancing what's already happening in the non-virtual world. So in the art world, most of the value of the art is based on feel, mood, intention, and how you perceive that the value of a piece of art will increase over time. And but it's all intangible. There's no way to know really what's the value of a piece of art and will it increase over time. So what we're doing is giving that crowdsource information and then putting the layer of data analytics on top of it can give some concrete information and practical information on the reality of the value of a piece of art and how it is perceived. So it's a way to digitalize and the actual economic that happen in the physical world, in the digital world. So the reputation system is already present in the real life, but now we're putting it at a different layer, and adding the AI can give a good insight of where a piece of art can go based on all the crowdsource and the behavior of all the user on the platform.
So you mentioned that the holder of NFTY can possibly be getting very exclusive, whether it is NFTs or digital events, but you guys are also hosting a very real life event for NFTY holders, and that's coming up at the NFTY event here in New York that I'm very excited to actually meet all of you in person, which is something that is getting unique in the blockchain space, but I'm very excited to see you guys here in New York for that event. So tell me a little bit about the idea behind the private event and the curated event, and then specifically what's going on in New York.
So one thing that's going to be important is the status that people will have. So the more you stake, the more days in a row you can stake, the better your status is going to be. And the more tokens you own and the more tokens you have, give you that status you're looking for. And it goes from patron to silver up to diamond status. So this event we're going to have in New York, at least we'll mention to you about, is kind of the beginning of what it's going to be like to be an exclusive member of the NFTY platform. And we're hoping at some point in time, we will have some of the best events in the world that maybe only a diamond status person can have. We come from the gaming industry, and who knows why, but everybody wants to be on that leaderboard, and we're going to have a leaderboard, and we're going to see who's there at the top, and just give people what they want.
I want to ask one follow-up question to that, Ed, just to be clear, because we are still in the crypto space. There is a staking reward, an APY percentage for somebody to actually keep their token staked. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I would never be the one to answer that question, but I heard Chris and JP and Evelyn and Steve talk about it so much. I'm going to say yes, but I don't know if that's right.
That is right.
Yeah,
Yes.
there is a staking reward of 13.579%, and that has a compound mechanism built into it.
Thank you for being specific.
Easter egg for that, Jeff, for that 13.579. We're not disclosing today, but we're going to NFT that someday, is how that number came about.
All right, I'll look forward to it.
That 13.579% APR is the only way new tokens are minted. So there's a very limited supply that will only grow if people are actually engaging in the platform, staking their tokens and allocating for auctions.
Good to know. Okay.
So yeah, we'll be coming out to see you, Jeff, in New York. We're so excited. I get to meet my lawyer in person, so that way I can get bailed out of jail more quickly. And no, I'm kidding. And we'll be having a private rooftop event on November 2nd at 7:30, and it's at the AC. So it's actually it's less than 10 minutes away from the event, I believe. And you need to come and join us. So reach out to us on social, follow us on social, and just ping us and ask us for an event, and we'll give you more details. It's going to be fantastic. And yeah, the reason that we were going to launch out there and do all this is because I was speaking at NFTY NYC. This is the second year that they've done this. And it has had a fantastic outreach. They sold out all of their tickets within 2 weeks, and they're actually extending tickets now because there's been such a need for it and want for it and cry for it. So I guess go to their website. It's nft.nyc and look for more tickets on October 1st, and then come and see us, join us at our private events, and then show us around New York with Jeff and keep us out of trouble. No, I'm kidding.
So the event in New York that I'm very excited for is sort of a soft grand opening event, but I know that you guys have already launched the token. You can go on Uniswap right now and purchase. And you guys had a fair launch, which just happened a few days ago. And I know a fair launch might not be a well-known vocab word to a lot of people in the NFT space. So can one of you please tell me what that means and why it's important?
So I think what you've seen in the crypto space is there's been a lot of fraud. There's been a lot of people that are taking advantage of investors, and it's causing a lot of issues with the SEC for US citizens wanting to get involved. So the concept of a fair launch is that there's no ICO, there's no tokens that are given away for free. A lot of times these things will be set up and the founders will get a certain amount of tokens because of their sweat equity. For us, we did not want anything to be given away. We wanted to make this completely fair. And so each founder purchased the purchased the tokens for the starting price. And then we loaded the liquidity pool on Uniswap with all of the remaining tokens. So there is no possibility of us doubling the supply by minting new ones. The only way minted tokens happen is through staking, and that goes directly to the patrons that are staking the tokens. And so it really is going to protect the people that are investing in the tokens themselves, because there's no tricks or anything that's going on.
It's just to strengthen what you're saying, Chris, is that in many ICOs, what will happen is that there is always large supporter at the beginning of a project that will invest significant amount of money, and they'll get a very big share. And even if you have good locking periods, most of the time what will happen is that the ICO will have a beautiful curve to start with, and then the dumping start. Why? Because people need to recover their fund. It's a normal process for investor to want to at least de-risk their fund and to recover. They are there for the money, not just for the pure goodness of their art. So by doing a fair launch, you have less inflation that is predicted that people will dump and extract this value from the liquidity pool, which means extracting this value from the value of everyone holding the token. So when you do these ICO, you're pre-taxing everyone by giving a rebate to the first come, which can be a fair thing, but we believe that there's another way that will protect much more the value, so people can have a less expectation of big whales dump on this token. Just I wanted to add to this.
That's great. Yeah, thank you. And I will say, I'll add that as an attorney, I love hearing about fair launches because there is significantly less regulations involved. And as a frequent investor in several ICOs, I love the idea of a fair launch because it does really mitigate the rug pull and the dumping that comes afterwards. So I was very excited to hear that you guys were doing that.
Yeah, I really hope that the fair launch shows the users our passion in the project itself. I mean, we really feel like we're creating a solution that's needed in the NFT space. And so we're not doing this to get rich quick kind of scheme. We're in this for the long run to make a product that is very influential.
Yeah, we definitely believe that a fair launch is one of the most ethical ways to go about this. And it just proves that not only is our heart and soul in this and we're in it for long term, but, you know, we put our money where our mouths and where our code is, you know?
All right, so you guys did launch a couple of days ago, and I understand it's going quite well. So if one of you want to tell me the story of the exciting last 24 to 48 hours since that fair launch actually happened.
It started on my birthday, so we'll start there. Now it's somebody else's turn.
Yeah, we've seen some pretty impressive results from our initial launch of this token. So as soon as we put it on the liquidity pool on Uniswap, it started flying off the shelves. We're fast approaching our first 100 wallets, and only about 50% of the tokens are still held in Uniswap right now. Almost the entire initial third of the circulating supply has been sold either to the founders or to other people who have invested. We've had people come in and dump dozens of ETH into it. We've had people that have dumped very tiny amounts, like 0.001 ETH, that just wanted to hold a couple. We've had people that have bought hundreds of thousands of these things. We've had people that have bought about 50. It's been a pretty wide spread for who is trying to get in. We've got people from all sorts of backgrounds who are coming into this to try and be a part of what we're trying to do. We've had a really strong response on our social media, and it's reflected in the activity that we're seeing on Uniswap. The token price has more than tripled. We launched it at around 10 cents, and it's currently sitting at 34.1673 cents. So it's going up pretty rapidly. And again, that's only been in the past 48 hours, and crypto's been pretty choppy in general in the past 48 hours. I've had some people reach out and ask me why this is the only token that's going up. And I can't say it's the only one, but it's the only one that I'm watching that's just gone up in the past couple of days. So that's not investment advice. Do not buy just because I said that this token's only going up. But as of the past several days since we launched, it has had a very strong response. The community is really interested in it. And even as we've been sitting here doing this AMA, I've been watching on my other screen here, seeing more sales roll in, because that's just kind of what I do. I stare at the numbers.
You couldn't pull away for a few minutes just to do the AMA. You're still watching it.
Hey, I literally just now, as you asked that question, refreshed the screen. So no, I cannot pull away.
Well, somebody else tell me about the emotions of launching the coin and watching that happen. You know, I mean, the numbers are great and they sort of speak for themselves, but I want to hear from you guys what it felt like to watch that happen and really launch the project that you guys have been working on for this long.
You know, this project was and we're still working on our vision statement, which is going to be involved. The artists are at the synergy of our passion. That I talked earlier about feeling the need to do something to help support the artists in this community that's forever looking to be seen and share their works. So for me, it's more exciting about what we hopefully can do working together with the artist community in a very collaborative way, and the emotions of getting this launched. And Chris is a CEO. He's a great cheerleader. I mean, this guy just made us feel like $1 million that day with all the hard work. But I appreciate where we're going, and I hope the artists someday will understand what we're trying to do for them, because that's going to be the focus on everything we do to help get them through this process in a seamless way as possible.
I can add a comment on that if you want. So the emotions have been incredible. Everything took off amazingly. And I think we expected it, because we all knew what we brought to the table, and we all teamed up to do one specific goal. And we trusted each other quite a bit. And, we really did take 8 experts in vastly different fields, but everybody knew everybody. And we formulated a family. And so as we actually fought through this, cried through this, said F that to a few people here and there through some of this process, it was amazing. We did. We cried on each other's shoulders. We held hands. And I know that in doing things like the fair launch together, we know that we were always going to support each other through all of this. And we have a huge community, all of us, that is formulating together to support us throughout all of this too. So any of the tears or the stress that we've shed, it's just come with a bunch of people circling us going, no, we've got you. And it's reflecting in our token price. And it's reflecting in people going, are you okay? Are you eating? Are you getting through this? We love you. Can I buy $25,000? What? Okay. So, it's a wide range of emotions, but that's why they got me. I'm a mental health nurse. I'm getting us all through it. It's fine. So
I'd like to add, I think for me, I've worked on a lot of different projects, especially in the gaming side of building games. And what I've found throughout my career is something we call just team buy-in. And through making dozens of games, if the team's into the project, it seems to do well. If you can't get the team behind the project, if it's just a job for them to come in and do what they need to do and leave, then those games are never successful. And I'll say, in all of my time, I've never had a team that is this dedicated or this passionate towards in the same goal. And so I think that passion that we all share together is what's really driving the early success in this. And I think we're just at the very beginning stages of something that is going to be absolutely amazing. I look at this as a 3 to 10 year project that's going to revolutionize reputation in a decentralized way.
I think every single one of us has been on the phone with people trying to buy this token and walking them through the process. I know the longest I spent on the phone with someone was 90 minutes trying to get them just to even get to the point where they had bought an ETH, and then getting that out of the exchange and then over to a wallet and then making MetaMask work so that they could actually swap it. And that's not the longest. Who was it that was on the phone with
I had 4 hours. I had 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And we had like emails coming in the day that we were launching. Before we even went live, we hadn't even told anyone we were launching, and they were asking, when can I buy it? Why can't I find the liquidity pool yet? Why can't I do the swap? And there's not just us, there's a lot of passion around this project in the community as well. And we're really grateful for all of that.
Yeah, and I've actually been here in New York to some of the events for a large crypto conference, and I've been telling people about the Nifty project and everything that you guys are doing. And I have yet to talk to a single person that doesn't think that is a fantastic idea. And a couple of them are upset they didn't think about it, but everyone is definitely excited to see where it goes. And plenty of people were asking me where to invest. And that's just, crypto people that are in DeFi or in NFTs or anywhere. I think everyone can understand the value this is going to bring. And building on the value that you're bringing to the space, I understand that this is a reputation layer that is going to be used in the NFT space. While it can be used on many different platforms, what exactly is the short-term plan for bringing this on to platforms using it for reputation for NFTs?
So to answer that question, Velbo is going to be a project we're working on simultaneously with Nifty to be the first place we use our protocol to allow artists to put NFTs up. We're looking for high-end value luxury items, and they will start at $1,000 a piece minimum on the auctions. We're offering a white glove service, which we're really excited about. So artists are really struggling with the technology and getting into this space. So we're going to handhold them all the way through the process. We need to help them with their wallet, where they'll receive their funds in the end, to taking a painting that they only know how to use a brush, and we can take that painting, do photography imagery, and bring it to life. We've had a few test cases, and the artists are pretty excited about seeing their images, start to move and come to that 3D kind of look and feel. So from beginning to end, we will handhold that artist that wants in the space but doesn't understand it. And at the end of the day, we can show the world things that this artist probably would not have a chance to share in the NFT space. And we're hoping to, launch that sometime into the year. And from there, Elise, you want to add to that?
Oh yeah, we're bringing on some fantastic artists. Marco Cochran that does a lot of the Burning Man art. He's bringing one of his $8 million pieces to our platform. And so people are kind of asking, why are you building a platform too? Like this token's doing really great things and we can use it everywhere. But, we just hadn't found a platform that was really focused on luxury and those really great tangible items. We didn't want to be able to tell our artists in our network, people that do paintings for Elon Musk, like they don't want to be listed next to, I'm really sorry, twerking Pepe's. I know that I hate you and I don't mean to, I really don't. But, when I've got people like Ronnie Stretch going, yo, Musk has got to step up above his bed where he sleeps and I don't want to sit next to Pepe, we had to build something like Velbo, and that's what that's for. And then they're artists. Like we want them to create. We don't want them to be nerds. We're weird. Like we stay on our computers. People look at us funny. Like we want them to go make beautiful things and share it with the internet. So our white glove service is going to do just that. We're going to concierge their art to the world, and we think that it's going to be really great. And these artists we're bringing on, they're excited about this. They're really excited, and it just pumps us up even more. We act like 8 very grown adults. Let's just be real. We're very grown up, and we sound like a bunch of kids in a candy store all day long because they pump us up just even more excited than we already are.
And to add to that, the gas fees are something everybody knows about, or if they don't, they're very up and down, with the market. So we're paying for all the gas fees for the artists. So all these unknown costs, because there have been horror stories where people sell a $10 item and they have a $38 gas fee, and they just didn't understand it till after the fact. So hopefully we can take care of all that, the pricing, the NFT and all that, and sell some great luxury items on Velbo.
One other thing that we really want to do with Velbo is provide a first case for the use of Nifty. So anytime a new technology comes out, it's really hard to find early adopters. You really have to have someone who's going to advocate for you in the way that Nifty is advocating for new artists. So we've decided that we're going to use this Velbo platform as that initial use case so that we can use the Nifty protocol on all the other NFT exchanges. The long-term goal is that this is a protocol that will be integrated to almost all transactions for NFTs worldwide. But in order to do that, we have to prove that it works. And in order to prove that it works, we have to have an early adopter. Vilbo is the early adopter. The focus here is making sure that the NFTY protocol can apply to all NFTs, but we have to start somewhere.
So you guys have launched. The last few days have been going very well. What does the future look like in the roadmap looking forward?
Yeah, Jeff, we've got a pretty strict and quick roadmap that we're looking at. And so right now we've launched the token on Uniswap, which we know. So everybody that's investing in this is investing in our team and what we're building. In New York, we're going to be launching the staking mechanic and the start of the reputation layer. And so that's going to come out on November 2nd. And so we are going to give a free NFT to everybody that starts to stake between when we launch the platform on November 2nd till when we launch the Vilbo marketplace. And so there's an incentive to be an early adopter. You'll get the APR of the 13.579%. You'll start your social rank. You'll start your streak. So how long you've been staking will be started on that day. And so the longer you keep that held, that staking streak held, the longer that, or the higher that your social rank will be. And then from there, hopefully by the very first of next year, we'll launch our first platform, which will be where you'll use your NFTY that you're staking to allocate towards NFTs.
And that first platform being Vilbo, correct?
Vilbo, yeah.
Got it. Thank you. That's very exciting, even just in the short term and in the long term. I also wanted to ask you guys, a lot of the people that I have spoken to here in New York talking about NFTY have been mostly in the investor mindset, but I know a lot of you have also spoke to people who are artists that want to utilize the platform. And so I'm just curious what the feeling is when you speak to artists about what NFTY is going to bring to the NFT space.
I mean, for me, Jeff, it's, I'm lucky enough to travel a lot through Europe and meet some, artists that have, 150,000 followers on Instagram and sell their pieces for $1 to $10 million. And they're afraid of this space. They have people talk about it all the time and they can't grasp it, and I don't know if I've done a good enough job to explain to them. But just as we said earlier, to just kind of hold their hand and nurture them along the way is kind of our goal. And they've received it very well. I've been telling people I've been 10 out of 10 successful on the artists that I've been speaking to, because I think it is a need. And the onboarding process, we have about 45 to 50 already. We just started 3 weeks ago and we haven't even reached out to the general public for people to submit what they have. So yeah, it's a great question.
And the artists and the entertainers that are approaching us, because sometimes we're not tracking a lot of them down, like they're talking to us, which is really cool. And, we feel really blessed by that too, because they're looking for solutions and they're coming to us for those solutions. And we have to stop every day because it's a lot, like we're getting a lot of calls to shift that kind of money. An $8 million, painting, like a $20 million painting, like, we have to make sure that we're really doing this right. And they're reaching out to us. So it feels so good to know that we're doing the right thing and to know, and they love us and they want this because we didn't build this with us in mind. We knew if we were going to build this with others in mind, with creatives in mind and their fans in mind as well, they were going to love this and be rewarded for it. And they would just, it would benefit them. And then we would be blessed in return because of that, and I think, when they meet us face to face, Ed and I go through, we're in meetings all day, every day. And it's really fun because our little family here, we love the white glove service because even though all of us are powerful industry leaders in different industries, we still lead out of service, and we want to bring solutions, and we want to code ethical technology. And we've done that with this. And so the feedback, nobody's been like, no thanks. Everybody's been like, what, why, where, when, now, how, and it's been beautiful. Some of the greatest things that I've seen recently is like, we interviewed one of these huge artists, and his IT guy is pretty well known in blockchain, and he's done a lot. So he's just like, I want to be involved. I want to be involved. And he's texting me all the time. So I'm like, do you want to come to my marketing room? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go. Like, I'll do anything. Like, I want to be a part of the marketing team. I'm like, you're a world-renowned artist. And he's like, I can help on social. And I'm like, okay, and that's a massive, that's just, it makes your heart swell in big ways,
That's great.
I think it's also important to note that this isn't just for digital art and JPEGs. A lot of the people that we're working with have never created any digital art at all. They're all very traditional physical painters and physical artists. And the way that we're doing this is not just going to be like on OpenSea where you only work with digital art, at least for the most part. We're really trying to broaden the spectrum of NFTs to what I was discussing earlier, where we're trying to encompass all items that could eventually be sold. And this is a great first step in that process, because we're bringing artists into the NFT sector who would not have otherwise entered it, because they are not digital artists, they are physical artists.
That's a great point. All right, well, thank all of you for giving me the amazing story of how you guys started and the problems that you're trying to solve and the amazing things that have already happened in the Nifty space in the last 48 hours. Obviously, more people are going to be excited about this as we move forward. So where can they find you? Where can they start buying? And how do they get involved in the Nifty community?
Well, I guess I'll take that. You can find us at niftytoken.io. That's NFTY, as you can see on the back of our screens here. And you can join us in our Telegram room, or we will link you to the social, like our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and all that fun stuff. We have a 24-hour Telegram chat, so hop in there if you have any questions. We're listed on Uniswap, so you can go over there and look us up on Uniswap, but there's 24-hour chats that people will help you walk through this process. And then go on our YouTube and you'll be able to find a very simple how-to video on there. We have copy on Medium and press releases too. So reach out to us. Like I said, chat in the Telegram and just ask questions. And we will definitely see you all in New York. Come to our private rooftop event, get some fancy hors d'oeuvres and cheers to us. We will pop bottles of alkaline water or champagne, whatever, but we will have a really great time celebrating each other. So thank you all very, very much.
All right. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you guys, and I will see you in New York. I will absolutely have a drink with you. I do host a crypto podcast in a bar, so I will be having a beer on a rooftop with you guys soon. So thank you.
Yay!
Thank you very much.
Yay, awesome.
Yes.